Justin Trudeau, the carbon bully. I'm Brian Lilly with the Rebel.media. It's bizarre, really. We've been hearing a lot from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau about how he wants to work with the provinces. Gosh darn it, he wants to be different than that last guy. Funny thing though, while Stephen Harper wasn't fond of meeting with all the premiers as a group, he met with and worked with them all, including people he was politically opposed to, like former Liberal Premier of Ontario, Dalton McGuinty. But here we have Justin Trudeau meeting with all the premiers to discuss climate change and his desire to put a national price on carbon to fight global warming. And he keeps telling all of us he's really open to them. But is he really? Because there are folks threatening to force the issue if Justin doesn't get his way. And we know that Saskatchewan's Brad Wall doesn't want to add any taxes or cap and trade programs to his province's struggling economy. And he says there are ways with dealing with this issue in other fashions.
I've heard some large oil companies advocate for a carbon price. I've got a lot of small oil companies in Saskatchewan, a lot of mining companies, lots in agriculture who aren't that excited, who don't think it'll be helpful to the economy. And so I would offer this, though, that our carbon capture and sequestration project works in Saskatchewan because it inherently prices carbon. The market's priced it. We sell the CO2.
So Wall wants to go a different route. Well, to hear Trudeau talk to the media, at least, you would think he'd be good with that. He'd be on board.
All Canadians across this country, including all the premiers, are united in their desire to build a stronger economy that doesn't put at risk our environment. And the steps required to do that will vary across the country. And that and many other issues is exactly what we are gathering here in Vancouver to talk about.
So Wall, and as it turns out, others should be happy. Trudeau's open to all kinds of ideas. Wrong. As Prime Minister Trudeau was saying those words, a key advisor to the Prime Minister was busy telling CBC that if the premiers aren't on board, they're going to push their plan through. Quote, a senior official close to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said the Liberal government campaigned on environmental change and won a majority. We feel that we've got a mandate to do it, and we want to do it in cooperation with the provinces, the official said. But at the end of the day, we are going to do it. Federal action isn't imminent, CBC says, but Ottawa won't allow any carbon price talks to drag on indefinitely. This would be a conversation about how we're going to price carbon, not whether, said the source. Well, you know what? Nothing says cooperative federalism quite like, do as I say or I'll make you. That's how I talk to my kids when I ask them to do the dishes and they give me lip. Is that how he treats the premiers? The fact is, Trudeau and company likely felt that they could push this issue because, hey, it was just Brad Wall. And they've got, one MP in all of Saskatchewan, and while Wall's Saskatchewan party is a mix of Conservatives and Liberals united to keep the NDP out of power, well, we all know that Wall leans Conservative, so Trudeau and gang screwing him over, that wouldn't be so bad. Except now it's more than Wall, isn't it? Nova Scotia Premier Stephen McNeil, a Liberal, has now come out against the idea of a harmonized national price on carbon, says there needs to be flexibility across the country. And after McNeil came out against it, so did all three premiers of the Northern Territories. And now the latest from CBC shows that premiers are getting annoyed at Trudeau. From the story, there is some surprise in Vancouver that Trudeau is so entrenched in his demand for a carbon price. A few sources described it as an almost religious view of what is right and wrong in addressing climate change, rather than what is right for different areas of the country. There's a thought. What's right for different areas of the country? Do you think Trudeau really cares about what's right for different areas of the country, or do you think he's going to push the traditional Liberal view of Ottawa, of central Canada, knowing what's best for the rest of the country? Mark my words, this man will push through his green agenda, the one pushed for so long by the likes of Gerald Butts and Marlo Reynolds, two high-level government officials that used to run radical green groups calling for the oil industry to be shut down. And as for what's good for the country, well, that won't matter so much as accomplishing Trudeau's goal, even if it angers a few people or a lot of people. But Trudeau better be careful, because while we haven't had much in the way of a national unity crisis over the last several years, he and his actions could definitely ignite one. Only this time it won't be Quebec looking to leave. It will be the West.